are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy and I'm going to be doing my ranking for all 4 of the Lion King movies. So, I've, over the last year, reviewed all 4 Lion King movies, and I thought I'd go ahead and do a little ranking and stuff real quick with all 4 movies. So, I'm going to go ahead and get going. Coming in at number 4 is the 2019 live-action remake, which is quote-unquote live-action because it's actually a computer-animated remake, and everything that Disney wants to make everybody pretend is live-action, and everything. We have to live in fantasy world and pretend that this movie is live-action when it's not. But it is a absolute horrible, horrendous piece of trash. One of the worst movies ever made because it only exists for nothing but to make money, and it is one of the worst type of movies to be like that. Everything is just a soulless, heartless cash grab, and it is one of the worst remakes ever made. It's one of the worst movies ever made, if not the worst movie ever made, and it just is absolute trash. Nothing about this movie is good except for Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner as Timon and Pumbaa, and even them are not enough to save the movie and aren't enough to warrant a reason for this piece of trash to exist and everything. If you want to see The Lion King, I would highly recommend just watch the original, because this movie is a diluted piece of garbage. So, The Lion King 2019 is number 4, and number 3 is The Lion King 2: Simba's Pride. Now, from this one up, I enjoy all 3 of the original Lion King trilogy movies. This is easily my least favorite of the 3, but I do really like it quite a bit. I think it's a good continuation of the first one. The animation isn't quite as strong on it and everything, but it has a good story. I love the romance between Kovu and Kiara, and their relationship is really well written. And Simba's character arc of having to learn to trust Kovu and everything and accept him even though he's different and everything is a pretty good arc for Simba and stuff too. So I feel like this movie is pretty good and everything, and it's definitely not a bad movie. Just because it's this slow does not mean I think it's a bad movie and everything, because I think, like I said, the Lion King trilogy is one of the rare Disney trilogies that I actually feel like was pretty solid and stuff as far as these direct-to-video movies go and stuff. The sequels to The Lion King are pretty good, and The Lion King 2 is definitely one that was pretty good. It wasn't necessarily needed or anything, but I've always been glad that we've always had it, and I've always enjoyed this movie ever since it came out in 1998. So, The Lion King 2: Simba's Pride is number 3, and number 2 is The Lion King 1.5. This is an absolutely hilarious, fun family comedy. I enjoy this movie from start to finish. It's a really, really good time. Timon and Pumbaa are just absolutely hilarious and everything, as you would expect. And then of course you got the whole story of how they met and everything, and you see the Lion King 1 from their perspective, and I know a lot of people feel like the movie was pointless because of that. I think that seeing it from their perspective just makes it funnier and more enjoyable and stuff. I know some people say it ruins the movie for them. I don't really feel that way, and everything, because like, I just look at it as that it's its own silly thing. I don't really count it as something in the continuity of The Lion King. It's just a fun spoof type movie and everything, and it is really funny though. Like, there's some really laugh out loud moments and stuff, and this movie's only rated G, but it's a really good family comedy and everything. So The Lion King 1.5 is number 2, and my number 1 favorite movie in the Lion King franchise is the original. This movie is easily one of the greatest movies of all time. It is such a beautiful and well-told story. It has some of the most beautiful animation Disney has ever given us. The characters are some of the most lovable and everything. I absolutely love Simba. He's one of my favorite Disney protagonists and everything. He's relatable, he's funny, he's likable and stuff. I always related to him as a kid because Simba had an evil uncle, I have an evil uncle. So I always related to him. Except my uncle made Scar look like a saint. But this movie is just so great. Scar is such a great villain. The songs are great in here too. You got the awesome comic relief Timon and Pumbaa, who to me are the best Disney comic relief. And this is just one of those movies that every time I watch it, I love it a little bit more. I've loved it ever since I was a little kid. Like anybody who grew up in the 90s, I have huge nostalgia for it, but also have a lot of respect for this movie. It's just one of those movies I've always really, really loved, and it's still, to me, just as good as it's always ever been. So, The Lion King is easily my #1 favorite out of this franchise and everything. But it doesn't really take much, because when it comes to the Disney franchises, none of the sequels are ever really as good as the original. But this one, the sequels are really good and hold up pretty good to the original, but they're not near as good as it. But they're all solid movies except for the remake and everything. So, anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of the Lion King movies. If you want, tell me your ranking. If you don't want to do a full ranking, tell me your favorite and least favorite. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.